For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.
Welcome to the ET Stand Podcast, live on day 2 or 3, Chris Kelly from Las Vegas. Let's cue up the music. Boy, we've heard a lot of up Cronulla in Las Vegas. You think we're looking a little tired? We are. Hello, Christopher.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's match day for the Cronulla Sharks versus the Penrith Panthers in the main event. What is it? 8:30 Las Vegas time, 3:30 Sydney time?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, 3:30 Sydney time. So if you're just waking up now, please do support our partners, Miranda Hotel. If you've got nowhere to watch the match today, if you're back in Sydney in Australia, go watch at Miranda Hotel. This is the ET Stand Podcast. We're live on YouTube. Well, actually, we're not live on YouTube.
We're just doing it.
Yeah, just doing a record. Well, we can't trust our hotel Wi-Fi, so we can't do a recording. So we just post this and go. But we're typically live on YouTube. We're also live onto Facebook typically, so you can follow us there. If you haven't seen us on Instagram, following us around on this Las Vegas trip, Instagram is absolutely berserk. And then we're on a whole bunch of audio channels as well. On this episode, we're going to give a quick Panthers match preview. Chris is going to tell an amazing story about what happened when I met Craig Fitzgibbon at the bar last night. And I might have changed my opinion on Craig Fitzgibbon. So what is now Boldo's opinion on Craig Fitzgibbon? And has it changed?
Yes.
Since that funny meeting. We'll also relive some of our other shenanigans. And we're going to give our season predictions, and we'll get into that too. All right. And obviously, he's sitting to my right and right there. There he is. It's so good when we're like right next to each other with these pods. All right, Christopher. Sharks, Panthers, round 1. Let's just cue down the music. You're feeling pretty confident. Why?
Yeah, well, we're just speaking to it off camera just then in regards to what's going on with the Panthers. Obviously, they've had a few key changes in the offseason. Boldo's favourite player, Jerome Luai, thinks he's the winningest player in the competition.
Winningest player in the comp.
So he's no longer there, and he's at the West Tigers, where he's apparently, in Boldo's prediction, to catapult them to glory.
Not
West
the glory,
Tigers.
just to top 8.
Glory. That's glory for
Yeah,
them.
that is glory.
See?
More even relevance. Let's have a look at this Panthers team that Franco fired up the other day. Dylan Edwards, yeah, good. They're still good bunch of players. They're missing To'o.
They are missing To'o. He could still backflip, though, while he was injured.
They can still backflip. Moses Leota, he's big boy.
Big boy. But they're missing their other guy who's going to be player in the earlier game, in James Fisher-Harris. He's now at the Wars.
Yeah, they're not quite as... They're not as formidable looking anymore. There's
a few dents in the armour, we hope.
Yeah.
We're telling ourselves.
Yeah.
There's a few chinks. You got to remember Nathan's come off the back of a surgery to his shoulder. Like, he doesn't, this day and age, what he's on and what he's used to. And I believe one of the greatest halfbacks we've seen. A lot of people want to argue that, but 4 straight premierships kind of speaks for itself. He's come off the back of shoulder surgery. There might be a little bit of rust there, but, he's probably prepped and ready to go. Edwards was coming off a bit of an injury, but he looked fine this morning outside Starbucks. And I believe also Liam Martin was coming off an injury and was.
Oh, you saw the Panthers this morning, didn't you?
Yeah, they were quite casual. Saw our ex-player and Scotty Sorensen walking around too, and Ivan looked pretty relaxed. And
he saw Ivan.
Fresh.
He's a bit of a physical beast, Ivan, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He looked like he'd just come from a gym or a run or something like that. And then me and Laurie Daly looked like with this, we were wrecked.
Just absolutely
so
wrecked.
We were just jealous. So yeah.
Fair enough.
Can I just say as well? We'll get into it, but you walk around here and it's like this junction of like NRL players and
it's a rugby league convention.
It's nuts. Like
it's a rugby league.
You
convention.
run into everybody and everyone's happy to be here, and we're all just bewildered that we're talking to people in Vegas for an NRL game.
Oh,
it's like going to do a magic round, like I said, or a game day somewhere away, but everyone's here, so it's
you're just sitting at a bar at 2 a.m. last night, and Mark Riddell comes up and buys a drink.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. I'll tell the story of how I stitched Mark Riddell up at the bar too. I'm looking at the Sharks team. Look, we talked to the Sharks coaching staff last night at length, and shout out to Franco for not updating the heading on the team list here. For me, that's the Sharks. It's about mistake-free football and not making mistakes coming out of our own end, really, isn't it?
Well, according to Steve Price, that's what the strategy is. You can try and steal that all you want, but you pretty much mic drop Boldo in regards to that. So that was the quote out of his mouth. So yeah,
yeah. So other than Toby Rudolph, the Sharks are full. Well, Rudolph and Katoa really, aren't they?
Correct. But we get Goat Street in there, and
we miss much. We do miss a little bit by having Goat Street instead of Katoa.
We pick up a lot of speed, though.
Yeah, but Katoa's just so good at trucking it out from the.
And then saying that, meeting Goat Street, he's 7 feet tall, and you can't
Goat
teach
Street.
that.
Goat Street. We told Goat Street that he was Goat Street. I don't know if he really took to that.
No, he was happy with it. You know.
All right, look, the Sharks are formidable. It is all the talk is about the impact of Aiden Fanua-Blake is all that anyone is talking about. And so what has that done? Well, it means that we don't have as many options post number 17 as forwards. We don't have Jack Williams and Royce Hunt floating around trying to get into that team. We've got the utility player, Daniel Atkinson. Chris.
The heartbreaker. The heartbreak kid.
The heartbreak kid. That's it.
Daniel, the heartbreak kid.
Dan Atkinson, the heartbreak kid.
Yeah, that's it.
He knows he's sexy.
Well, that can be his music.
So many. Sorry about the wrestling references on this show. Yeah, look, Chris, your take on here's what I don't like about Daniel Atkinson on the bench is the Sharks have been able to win matches just by muscling teams and big bopper forwards and Hamlin, Ueli, Hazelton, and Talakai. These guys, if you don't have to give them big minutes, then you just get big impact. So what does it mean for the rotations? I don't like it as much. Chris, what's your take?
I now, with the change in the team with big AFB coming in, who's well known to play 65 to 70 minutes, they've talked about maybe reducing that for this season, but I think he'll stay with those big minutes, that we don't really need to rotate our forwards as much. So I think Dan's just a bit of a cover. I don't really think he's really going to squeeze in there. He could be one of those, we're up by 20 and throw him on for a couple of minutes, which would be really good. But yeah, I think he's just now a cover player in case something goes awry.
So as the Sharks bench now, looking at it, will we see Hamlin, Ueli for Fanua-Blake, Hazelton for Kaufusi at the 20-minute mark? Those guys go for 40 minutes, and then Fanua-Blake and Kaufusi are coming on at the end with 20 minutes to go with our strongest forward lineup. And then Talakai is probably going on for McInnes, maybe not at the 20-minute mark, but maybe a little bit later. And then pending injury, Talakai either goes into the backs or wherever else you might need him, and Atkinson's in the halves. It is a well-balanced team when you look at it like that, isn't it?
You really could push Teague towards the middle or Talakai towards the middle and play a bit of that sort of a bit more quicker sort of speed. We saw it when we were under strength against the Storm last season, and Talakai still come off the bench and played that sort of second row /center /middle.
Yep.
6-1, like he said, he can play all positions.
Halfback, hooker, Talakai.
I did tell him he's a good 6.
Great player, Talakai.
So yeah, I think we're going to play a bit more impact, a bit more speed.
I think the Sharks can win, Chris.
Boy, he got him over the line. Look at that.
I think the Sharks can win. You watch this podcast or talk about this stuff, you're like, oh, the Sharks are going to win. Oh, maybe not.
Sick of winning. I spoke to a Panthers fan. He was over going to grand finals, he reckons.
No, I don't reckon we're over from going to grand finals, I can tell you.
Not if I've done 4 in a row.
All right. How do the Sharks win, Chris?
Yeah, going on that, just our speed, our solidified team that's been pretty much the same team bar big AFB, which just adds a plus. Where the Panthers, like I said, a bit of rust in the off season, a couple of key changes, a completely different bench for them. They got Papali'i on the bench. Not as in like big Paps, but mini Paps. Middle Paps. We'll go with middle Paps. Came from Boldo's second favourite team, the West Tigers. Had a bit of a down season. Had a few injuries. Was on big money there from Parramatta. Didn't really set the world on fire. He might be looking for a bounce back, but he is coming off the bench for a guy who normally plays 80 minutes. It might be a bit strange for him, but I think, as usual, strengthen our bench.
All right, Chris, prediction, Sharks?
Yeah, Sharkies in 4 by 4.
I was going to tip Panthers by 8 and say we were going to closer, but I've decided Sharks are going to win.
Stick with Harley. Harley won the tipping comp by tipping Sharks.
Yeah, Sharks are going to win. Sharks are going to win. We haven't got the tipping comp up and running yet, have you, Franco? Franco's too busy worrying about his negative impact.
It's Sunday morning, got nothing else to do. Go and make the tipping comp.
All right, that was our preview. You get two wins from us. Look, we'll also be live on Instagram from down at the match.
It's going to be heaps.
So let's move on to our second segment, Vegas Travel Diary. Now, not as hectic as day one, but some pretty funny moments.
It was a bit later than day one, but not.
Yeah, certainly started late. We woke up at what, midday?
Oh, God, who knows? Yeah,
We woke up midday. We thought we'd get a cheap breakfast. Oh yeah, let's get a cheap breakfast. So we went down to Denny's. Yeah, $100 later. Yep, it wasn't that cheap.
Got no money. I'm out.
Yeah,
Blackjack's not helping.
Yeah, oh god, blackjack.
And can I tell you, for people who want to come to Vegas, and we've been here a few times, and they know how to do it well to keep you asleep or here and staying up late, because they have these amazing blockout blinds. You don't know what time of day it is.
Oh, the blockout blinds are so good.
You think it's so dark, it's 6 a.m. and you wake up and you're like, God, it's at lunchtime. So, yeah.
All right, so we woke up, we had breakfast, all that sort of fun stuff. We made our way down to the fan zone, and then Chris was fanboying over, who was that UFC fighter?
Bam Bam Tuivasa.
Yeah, so anyway, so Chris and I separated because we were holding hands. We've been holding hands a lot during this trip. And
worst time to separate.
And we separate. Chris is taking a photo of Bam, and we didn't take the microphone or any of the gear down. So then I, of course, couldn't walk from walking around Fremont Street. We did like 30,000 steps or some outrageous number. And so then I come running back, and Chris is like, get in the photo with Bam. I'm like, Chris, we've got to go. Chris, we've got to go. And anyway, what did we do? We missed Todd Gurley.
Yeah, one of the GOAT running backs.
Oh, Todd Gurley. We missed Todd Gurley. And I was going to ask him about why. 2019, your fantasy football team. You let me down. Are you still upset about it as I am?
And it would have been another good time. There was the one time we weren't wearing merch that we could have seen Todd Gurley. He probably would have come to us because he's had a few interactions with the Sharks over the last month. He came to Sharks training in Cronulla.
Yeah,
and
so we missed out on Todd Gurley. But don't worry, we met up with some other characters. So
it's a celebrity-a-thon here.
Oh, it is a bit of a celebrity-a-thon. So what happened after Todd Gurley?
Did we come and do this?
Yeah, we came and did the pods. Oh, goodness me. It took us like 4 hours to do the content and uploading the stuff. How many views is Carl's video up to now?
We're up to 13,000.
13,000 views of me interviewing Carl Stefanovic. It's wild.
Yeah, it's viral. It's nuts. It'd be cool to go to like 1 million or something like that, but
yeah,
we'll take 13,000.
We're not going to get to that.
Well, it's Carl.
Not Carl.
Yeah. If we got Todd Gurley, we might have been able to beat it.
Yeah, right. So anyway, what we did then is we called a set of drinks down at the what was that bar called?
We were going to go to the Tilted Kilt. We were called all Sharks fans were called the Arms to go to the
That's right. We're going to the Tilted Kilt
at about 5 o'clock. Plans had a bit of a swerve, and we went downstairs.
Yeah, so you go downstairs, and there's a whole bunch. There's the beauty of this event. There's a whole bunch of Australians just all over the place. So I've got people I used to work with and media people and all this. So we're just amassing at this bar and slowly, people coming in and out and back and forth. And we're just like, oh yeah, we're finally going to the Tilted Kilt. And then lo and behold,
you're going to fast forward to there. We're going to skip all the downstairs at the Gatsby.
No, I'm talking the Gatsby.
Oh, you said we're going to Tilted Kilt.
No, we were going to go to the Tilted Kilt.
Okay.
So we're downstairs at the Gatsby, getting ready to go to the Tilted Kilt. And lo and behold, Wade Graham walks past.
And just strolls up to us.
And just, hey, boys, how you going? And so I'm like, all right, yeah, good, Wade. How are you doing? Now, can I just say, Wade Graham, you are a lovely human being. And he's just such a genuine guy. And maybe I got a bit fanboy on him. And Chris is like, dude, he's just a regular guy, Boldo.
Yeah, you would. I've seen quite a few shock faces, and we'll get into another one later from you this week so far, just of Boldo's either soul dropping out of his body or just fanboying. And I mentioned to a female that Boldo used to work with, don't get lost in Wade's eyes. And about 5 minutes later, she admitted she got lost in Wade's eyes. So it is easy to do. But yeah, he was just, and to a strange thing I saw on Sharks social media, he just finished presenting AFB his jersey. He did a jersey presentation for AFB. So that's kind of cool, but kind of wish I knew that before he sat down. But we just chatted general stuff.
We just chatted footy. And he's like, oh, mate, I'll just sit with you. I'll chat footy till I'm blue in the face. And yeah, his way of describing football, it is really good. He's going to be a great commentator, isn't he?
Oh, he already is. Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously, you get better at this podcasting talking.
Yeah, he's kind of the third man on Triple M. Obviously got Franco's favourite, Dan Ganane, shouts him down. James Graham that no one can understand. And you got Wade there. So hopefully Wade takes over and becomes the second or first choice.
So anyway, Wade Graham sitting with us like, oh, I've got to find a table because all the Shark staff want to come down. I was like, well, Wade, you could just have our table. We're leaving in 15 minutes. Like,
meanwhile, I've seen Aaron Woods walk past. David and Don Ferner are sitting across from us. Like, there's just people everywhere.
There's like NRL, just people floating around everywhere. So anyway, then we're like, oh, yeah, I guess. Like some staff from the Sharks again.
Like, we're going to go to the Tilted Kilt.
We're going to go to the Tilted Kilt. You can have our table. And Wade Graham, and he's like, all right, cool. So then, lo and behold, Fitzgibbon and Steve Price turn up. And it's like, oh, g'day, Boldo, how's it going?
And the great Noakesy.
Oh, Noakesy. We love Noakesy. And Noakesy's like, g'day, boys, how's it going? And then we said to him, like, Oh, the guy who sponsors the Esky wrote to us. And then we still don't know who the name of the company that
Oh, I did
sponsors
look
the
at it
Esky.
before. I did. We're terrible at these.
Oh, terrible. We're terrible. Sorry, Metromac. Mermaids? What are they?
Sure, let's go. Yeah.
Metro.
I guess so.
Metropart. Micropart.
No, you keep going to part. Yeah,
It's Metrovac.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. So anyway, so Fitzgibbon and this. Oh goodness me! So I'm Chris. You tell them.
Prerequisite to this, Boldo had a discussion with a South fan in regards to his love for John Morris and our better attacking stats, a better attacking team, and Fitzgibbon he's still not sold on. Luckily, we relayed this back to the other guys from the podcast, and Williams presented the last 5 or 6. Oh, he went back to Flanagan, the for and against, and Fitzgibbon by far over the last 3 seasons has tripled those for and against.
But the attack was better. But Fitzy did admit that the attack was better, but also.
But those guys were just birthed at those times, like your Ronnies, your Katoas.
That's true.
Your Talakais. Like as Fitzgibbon came in, they were just being birthed into our team. So
So the Sharks coaches sit down and you can see that we're just chatting to them general stuff and then Chris gets a little excited. He's like, oh. Well, Boldo was just chatting about how our attack used to be better under Morris. He just completely throws me under the bus.
And I think Fitzy made a comment about like, oh, if I come into your podcast, you're going to be nice to me. And Boldo was like, well, sort of got stuck deer in the headlights.
Yeah, well, firstly, and I should have said to you, well, Craig, firstly, I'm pleased that you know that I am sometimes critical, but love you, Craig. It was very he's a very genuine. Look, what struck me, and all jokes aside, his knowledge of the game and how closely he watches things compared to us was really striking.
Yeah, well, I'll give you the example because I kind of moved back into the background to let Boldo get hammered by the 2 coaches. And he's going back and forth. And Fitzy says, well, what's wrong with our attack? And Boldo's like, well, it's just like, and Steve Price chimed in with the line saying that, we sort of concentrate, it's possession, it's getting through, it's
Steve Price is like, all right, what's wrong with the attack?
Yeah, and then Fitzgibbon was talking about, commentators blowing up about how the game's just turned into possession and block plays. But then, certain commentators who now still do coaching roles come out and just teach block plays. But I was like, yeah, okay. And then so Fitzy hits him with the absolute mic drop of, so, all right, what's the Penrith first shift play they pull out in the game? And Boldo was just like, I don't know. And Fitzy went, that's why I'm the coach.
But yeah,
and he even said, when Dylan Edwards starts shifting to one side and comes out this way, where are they going to go from there? And Boldo's like, you realize how much tape these guys watch.
So the take I also got from chatting with Fitzy, and he was an absolute.
And you brought up your 2, taking the 2, and you.
We'll get to the 2 and the third try. Just his take on the game currently is that the attacking styles from 5 years ago are a little bit different, and obviously our defense is stronger, and so we had the likes of more.
And you got to remember as well, the 6 again rules changed all that.
Yeah, and so his take is, and that's what he spoke about the commentators, is that the commentators pick out those moments and kind of build up that as if that's like pinnacle rugby league, but really the way to score is the other style. So I think that's a bit of a preview for us, and we're very lucky to have chatted with Fitzy.
And you're not critical of our attack. You're critical of there's no flair in the game at the moment.
There's not as much trickery and flair.
Gallen off the scrum inside the Ben Barber, or the Kamali inside ball, or the sort of
Kamali inside ball's not that creative.
Yeah, but like you're talking about those kind of things where it gets fans off their seats.
Yeah, so we're not as much about that, but I think that's what we can expect to see from the Sharks. And so when we chatted, Pricey was very open and saying, well, how we win? Fewer mistakes in our opposition, in the opposition red zone when they're attacking us and we're coming out of our zone.
You did throw a great comment, and we won't mention much more about it because we don't want to, because we don't want to throw that person or anything under the bus. But we did talk about one particular defensive structure that most Sharks fans about.
No, hilarious. Well, we did say I did say this, and look, I couldn't resist saying it. I know you don't want us to say it. So I'm just saying.
You did say it to his face.
I did. I said, Fitzy, Ronnie, coming off the wing, tackling the center, and Fitzy just looks at Pricey and goes, "See, it's not just us."
There was an awkward silence, but I was like, "Is there an inside joke?" And they just didn't want to answer.
Oh no! So anyway, so that was very funny. Then we went over in depth about taking the 2. So Fitzgibbon's more up for taking the 2.
He explained certain situations where he likes it, where he doesn't like it. And he also explained in regards to sometimes the message doesn't get down to the players and the adrenaline kicks in. Where decisions are made. And I said, well, we yell it out enough, so they should listen to us.
And then lastly, and then yes, I presented Steve Price and Craig Fitzgibbon with the third try principle. And you know what Steve Price's response was?
You're an idiot.
No, he said, I don't mind that. That's actually, I kind of don't mind that thinking. You're going to see Sark's power up. Must score the third try. We want impact.
I think I want to see how this season goes in regards to that, because the last couple of seasons was a 6 again, and the automatic sin bins that were just flying left, right, and center. 3 tries were happening in 7 minutes, so it was just we're getting score lines now where it's
score lines
40 to 60
so it's a
points in a
less.
game, so it's less now.
So rounding out the chat on meeting Fitzy and Steve Price and the rest of the coaching staff, I'll say in past I wouldn't say critical, but there's nothing wrong with me being a big John Morris supporter. And I was worried at times that perhaps our attack under Fitzy and the current regime wasn't as flare driven as perhaps we've been in the past. I am just going to outwardly say there is nothing wrong with changing your opinion based on new information. And I'm going to say this to you, Craig Fitzgibbon. I am now 100% behind you. You have convinced me. After talking to you last night, you are the man to lead us, and we are going to be the podcast that is going to support you. This is the year for us. I'm convinced you've got the plays going. And I'm sorry that it took me hosting a podcast for 12 months and me being a buffhead and you having to have a couple of drinks with me to convince me. But I'm going to just confirm that I am now convinced, Chris.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I liken it to if me or someone else got a new partner or a girlfriend or a wife, and you're like, yeah, but I like that one, but I like that one more. But I'm like, you haven't really known this one yet. Like, it's sort of
great analogy, Chris.
It's like that. And then a
podcast.
Yeah, and then a couple of years later, you're like, hey, I really like her. Like,
yeah,
that's what it is. It was a little change to his love of the Sharks to the team, from one good coach to a great coach, and you just were like, it's the same team. Like, so yeah, let's go with that.
All right. So that being said,
we didn't fanboy. We didn't photograph. We just wanted to have a chat like a couple of guys having beers. It was quite natural. It was good.
And so here's the other thing I'll say. I'm proud of the coaching staff that the Cronulla Sharks have now. I like them.
Yes.
Like they're cool.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Yeah.
Fitzy. What a legend. Wrestling. Like, he's so good.
Yeah, you trying to get him to wrestle me? I nearly left. I said to Steve Price, I can't even walk around that far. Like,
all right. Well, we'll come back to the rest of our travel diary. So given our new confidence in the Sharks after meeting Fitzy, let's get straight into our predictions. And we'll just hit through these quickly.
We're going to go to the Tilted Kill?
We'll do Tilted Kill at the end. So stay tuned to the end of the podcast to hear about what happened when Chris and I went to the Tilted Kill. And who did we meet that made my jaw drop and me not talk for 45 seconds?
Poor Zach.
Yeah, pause in 45 seconds. All right, let's hit through the preseason questions. All right, well, 2025 predictions from Kelly and Bolderman. Christopher, who is the highest try scorer for the season?
Given the long-term injury, I'm going to go Goat Street.
All right, you're the only one who's going to tip Goat Street.
Really?
I'm going to also say it'll be Ronaldo Mulatalo.
Ooh.
He's just such a try scorer, Mulatalo.
Yeah, I'm going Goat Street.
And this also comes down to fitness. All right, props. Who gets the highest meters for the year?
Oh, it's going to be AFB. The pressure's on this guy. You talk to any other fan, like from the Wars, from Penrith to the fans we've talking to Sharks fans. There's a lot of expectation. So let's just go with it. In a fantasy world that he plays the whole season, and it's all sweet.
So is there anyone that can beat him by some sort of stats anomaly? Like, can Britton Nikora beat him by getting an 80-meter run every match and beating him in the meters? Or is AFB just going to eat all of those up with consistent number of carries?
I think because AFB sees more carries and more ball.
It's going to be pretty tough. So unless there's an injury to AFB is winning the meters, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, how many tries is AFB going to score?
Do you know what he had last season? Do you remember what he finished on? He was quite a prolific try scorer. He was very good for first try scorer as well, a lot of the times. I'm going to put him at a reasonable Tommy 8.
I'm going to say he's going to be disappointing on the try scoring. I'm going to say he's going to only get 2.
Yeah, I reckon he'll have 2 in one match at some stage.
Well, I can't wait to cheer that on.
We still haven't reviewed actually what your Tommy number was.
I said 7.
Whoa. We're going to check the tape.
Okay, how many games does Hazelton play? This one's in for Franco because he's convinced that Hazelton might get out of the team. Chris?
Well, given that you said congratulations on the new contract and he hasn't actually signed it and you asked him to score 9, I'm going to say he's going to play most of the season. I'm going to go like 75% of the season. So I reckon he's going to pump out about 20 games.
I'm going to say Hazelton plays every match except for 2.
Okay.
I think he's going to be in the team most of the time. Last season, the Cronulla Sharks had a 7-match winning streak. And this question is in how many matches in a row could the Sharks win in 2025?
What's our favorite in a row? quote.
4 in a row, Wheeler.
From the great Glenn Wheeler.
4 in a row, Wheeler.
Yeah, I reckon we're going to go at 6 on the back end of the season, including the GF.
All right. I'm not going to be. I've looked at the draw.
Just for the back end.
I've looked at the draw. We don't have as many
No.
easy runs of games. I think the most we can get up to is 5. I'm going to say 5 matches, maybe 4. I'm going to go to 4. Okay. 4's a safer choice.
I'll go with 6.
Barring injuries, any major changes to the team this season? Crystal ball.
No. We'd like to see a few tweaks here and there every now and again, but we obviously know going through a whole big season, it's a long season, a lot of changes go on the team, but not really, no. Heartbreak Kid in and out, off the bench.
I'm going to give you one.
Yeah.
Remember how Finucane had reduced minutes as he got towards the end of his career?
Yeah.
Same thing's going to happen to McInnes.
Like Finau.
Finau. I think we might see more Talakai time in the middle, and I think our dear friend Stephen Franklin might be pushing. Geez, it's tough to say that McInnes isn't going to be starting at 13 every match, isn't it? I'm trying to find something with this question. Any major changes to the team? Actually, I don't think there is there?
We did mention this to like coaching staff and other players and things like it's tough running this podcast when we're going so well.
Yeah. My smoky, in terms of major changes to the team, because there won't be any, is maybe McInnes gets fewer minutes. Our next question was, will we see Nico swap and play another position? I'm just dismissing that question. It's a stupid question.
Dumb.
Nico's always going to be halfback. Are there any Origin rep players for the Cronulla Sharks this year, Chris?
Hell no.
Yep, 0.
Screw
we are
Origin.
Yep, we are going to have 0 players in the Origin. Blake Brayley's probably going to be the closest, who might be second choice hooker, but I don't think he'll get a run. Chris, getting into the business.
I did speak to the Origin coach in the cafe this morning, so in Starbucks, but I didn't want to mention Brayley's name.
Well, we've influenced Fittler before with Talakai. Come on, Fittler, pick Talakai.
Yeah, it's so much of a push from the media, but anyway.
So you're saying no? Yeah, so we're saying no Origin players this year?
Unless an injury comes popping around, I don't think so.
All right, major question. Where will the Sharks end the 2025 season on the NRL Premiership ladder?
I got them within the 4. You like to have them 1 to 3 if you want to have a chance. So I'm going to put them at 3.
Chris is saying 1 to 3. Hard to draw this year?
Hard to draw, but I think a lot of teams are facing that. I don't think there's any easy games out there this season.
Yeah, the weaker teams have caught up a little bit. Tigers, Eels are better. There's still a few other.
Eels are a bit scratchy. Souths are very scratchy.
Yeah, Dolphins.
Yeah, they've still got
Titans,
a handy team.
You've got Hasler.
They're the ones that bite you.
I'm going to say this. Where will the Sharks end up on the ladder?
At the end of the regular season.
I'm going to say that we're going to do really well over the Origin season. I'm going to say that Sharks are going to get second on the ladder.
Wow.
Yeah,
Sharks. You didn't have them this high last season.
No, I didn't. I'm getting more confident.
Yeah, you had them way down.
Yeah, I'm getting more confident. I reckon we're up for a good season, Sharks fans. All right, who is the player of the year?
For us?
Yeah.
I'm going to go Brayley again.
Brayley? All right, I'm going to say player of the year will be Nicholas Hines. Will be the out-and-out Cronulla Sharks player of the year. Bold prediction?
Where are Franco pulling these questions from? Bold prediction.
I'll give you mine.
Go.
My bold prediction is that something outrageous is going to happen with the ET Stand podcast this season beyond what we've even thought of for this. That's my bold prediction.
I was going to go more along the lines of Dino's going to squirrel away to get, now that he's seen the Raiders stadium and inside the stadium, he was blown away by that. And I've mentioned before the cheerleaders dressing room here in Las Vegas for the Raiderettes is better than any NRL dressing room. And that's just for the cheerleaders alone. I think after seeing that, I think he's going to push more for improvements down at Sharks.
Yeah, right. So we get big, because we called out Dino when we caught up with him when the interviews on Instagram. All right, Dino, what are you doing next? You got us to Vegas. You did this. You did this. You did the Hall of Fame. What are you doing next? He's like, oh yeah, I better start thinking of something.
Yeah,
what have you done for me lately, Dino?
He did say there's things that come, but I know Brett Kamali called for a new toilet block.
the Brett Kamali naughty toilet block coming to you, Sharks fans, in 2026. That'd be such a good stitch up.
I'd like to see us do like a Ring of Honor. Like we did the Hall of Fame. Why not do like a Ring of Honor around the stadium?
What, like a walk of all the champion players?
Oh, I suppose I did the thing out the front, but no, I don't know.
Here's my on the field bold prediction. Sharks will be top and we'll have no Origin players, and that will be the story. And the Sharks, and there'll be a story that'll come out.
Actually, I got it. The live podcast from Shark Key during a match.
Yeah,
on the balcony, set
a
up with
good
a
idea.
computer facing facing
That'd be
the
good fun.
field.
That'd be good fun.
Entree per person.
Yep. And the biggest news story of the year is that one person comes out and says that Stephen Franklin's a good podcast host. I love you, Franco. All right, that was our bold predictions. Look, a bit of jest, but seriously, I think the Sharks are up for a good season. Second on the ladder, give it a shake in the finals. I think we're going to come up against the Panthers in the finals again, be it in week 3 or the grand final, and it's going to be a hell of a lot closer this time, is what my take is, than last time. That's my prediction for the year.
And then we'll have to wait for ticket selection.
Does that mean we're going to say that we're going to win the grand final? Can we win?
Yeah.
Yep, we're going to win. All right, back to the travel diary. Okay, so then after the
finally
newfound confidence from meeting the Sharks coaching staff, we made our way down to the Tilted Kilt, which is a bar near the Sphere. Chris, are you going to tell us where it is in Las Vegas?
I've got to drive this guy a map. It's in the Link Promenade down near the Link Hotel. If anyone's been down the Link, they know it's the big London Eye sort of style. It's called the High Roller. You can go up there in like a London Eye style and have drinks.
Looks good.
It's down near the Link Hotel. In-N-Out Burger, if anyone knows where that is, in between Flamingos, close to Caesar's Palace.
So you walk it. So
I'll draw on the map. It's a little promenade.
So basically, I get taken. So we got a friend of ours who's driving us down in Las Vegas, and what's striking is you're driving around Las Vegas. There are just all these nooks and crannies of like different bits of shops, and it's not just the Bellagio big fountain and a couple of casinos, and then also there's this intricate set of roads and parking lots and things that are in and behind these places.
He's going to be shocked when I take him out to a speakeasy.
Oh, good. Anyway, so we eventually park in this place, and then Chris is walking me down this. How would you like it? It may be like a Las Vegas version of an alleyway. We're making our way towards this pub, and you're just walking towards it. And I kid you not, it could have been a Caxton Street pub with Sharks away jerseys. There must have been 100 jerseys, 50 to 100 people with either Sharks jerseys or Sharks merch in this Tilted Kilt. And we got a lovely intro, and they gave us a wristband, and a whole bunch of prominent Sharks fans were down there. And literally, we walk in, and we were there for not longer than 90 seconds, and then we hear the no.
Well, someone started a Sharks in Vegas, Las Vegas Facebook page, and PK, one of the Sharks fans that used to sit in front of a couple of rows in front of us, you got to meet his young fella who's now no longer a young fella.
Yeah, Boldo. And I'm like,
he goes, you guys, he used to sit in front of you guys before I moved up to the sunny coast.
And I'm all big now. I'm like, God.
He goes, my son was 10 then, and now we moved away. And I was like, oh yeah. So he said he came in about 5 days early and organized. He's like, I'm going to take the ball up and run with it. I know Rob used to run Northies and now Caringbah Hotel.
Was Rob Stanley Jones there?
It was the first person I said hello to. Yeah, he was sitting next to PK. So Rob Stanley Jones and PK. So PK organised with this.
We know Rob Stanley Jones banned me from Northies, right?
Yes, I do. He doesn't remember me from work, so that was a good thing.
Oh, that's a good thing too. All right, fair enough. Where's he working there?
I believe Caringbah Hotel.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so he was part of it as well.
Shout out to you, Rob Stanley Jones. You're never going to sponsor this podcast because we're all about Miranda Hotel here.
So, like Boldo said, it was kind of like walking into a Northies or a Caringbah Hotel.
Oh, it's amazing.
Probably a Miranda Hotel. I ran into a guy named Chris, obviously, wearing a Todd Carney Army shirt.
Can I just say, at the Tilted Kilt, Chris Kelly.
I'm the grabber, aren't I?
No, you were like.
Yeah, the grabber.
What do you mean the grabber?
So you walk up, hey, like that.
Person. Oh, God, people are loving you. No one says hello to me at all. Chris Kelly's walking around this bar and like, oh, hey, high five. We didn't see you for like freaking an hour.
Yeah, that's what I do.
It's just maybe
a lot of elbows, a lot more subscribers. I've got a few people that open their phones. And
maybe Latz is no longer man of the people.
Yeah. Met the lady we met from the other night at Fremont Street and the Fan Day.
Oh, God, she gave me a cuddle.
She
gave me a cuddle. And so the other thing is they're doing 2 for 1. So we just had to buy 2 drinks every single time.
So we just had to double up.
And was it 2 for 1 and 20% off?
20% off food. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I should have bought more wings.
You should have.
Yeah.
What flavor?
Oh, God.
It's the best.
So I'm sitting there. It took me, I must have taken me like 4 minutes, 5 minutes to choose
just
the
to
flavor.
Order 5 wings.
Just to order 5 wings and choose the flavor. And
I was about to throw the
menu
at him.
I don't want the barbecue ones, and then I don't want the spicy ones. And then it's like, oh, which one? I want the white sauce. She's like, well, which is the sauce? And I'm like, that's the ranch. No, that comes with this. Oh, goodness, it's so
Can't
funny.
order wings.
All right.
I met Chris from, he was wearing a Todd Carney Army shirt.
Oh, what a legend.
that was a bit of a throwback that Don Rogers started up when Carney was running
that
around.
was cool.
So, but yeah, Sharks fans, Up Cronulla got played. It was just going nuts. Shanazi was there.
He's a nice guy, Sam Shanazi,
I
isn't
love
he?
Big Sam. We missed Ash.
Big Sam.
Oh, I just like give him a cuddle.
Who's looking good, Sam?
I didn't say I just said I love Big Sam.
He's Big Sam because he's big personality and big person amongst the
Big
Sharks.
beard. Great beard.
Big beard. Now, Sam also, he did pull off something pretty amazing, Sam, didn't he?
So, as Boldo was describing, I like to be the man of the people at the pub and get around and chat to everyone. I sang with the Pommies. Oh, that was a great. We had a bit of Angels.
Oh, the Pommies. How good were the Pommies?
We sang Angels with Robbie Williams. The next thing, the Angels actually come along. Will I ever see your face again? And of course, the bar's full of Aussies. So you can imagine what the next line is.
The look on the look on the US people's face,
and the UK
they were like, "What the hell's going on here?"
So there were some loud young Pompey fellas, and they were singing along. And then all of a sudden, they heard us sing the Angel song, and they were just gobsmacked. But they absolutely loved it. So they learned the words, and
then he's like, "No, wait." And so, what was it? There's two funny moments. The guy's like, "This is like Alice."
Oh yeah, he said that. Yeah, he told me that story too.
He's like, "This is like Alice."
Yeah, we were at this bar and people started going, "Alice, Alice," and we're like, "Oh yeah, that's just an Australian thing as well."
Yeah,
Alice. I was telling Boldo, Keith Urban played that Angel song once before in an American bar, and there was Aussies in there, and they sang the next line. That's obviously the crowd part, and all the Americans were like, "Oh, what's going on?" Because everyone's just swearing. So like. And Keith Urban couldn't finish the song because he couldn't stop laughing.
All right. So anyway, we had a great time at the Tilted Kilt, and shout out, and we'll try and get down there again before we get out of Vegas. And then I walk outside the Tilted Kilt, and I'm ready to go. And I'm outside.
He's like, "Where's
chatting.
Chris? What's going on?"
Chris is just dawdling, taking forever,
hugging Shanazi. Then I looked at Shanazi's right. And about half an hour before that, my young fella Zach sent me a message saying Grayson Waller's in Vegas from the WWE. Have a look out for him. Like, yeah, sure. Like, I'm seeing a lot of people. Anyway, I looked to Shanazi's right as I'm saying goodbye to everyone, and there is the one, Grayson Waller from WWE.
From A-Town Down Under.
And I was just like, oh, my God. Grayson, he's a lovely guy. Chatted to him about my young fella mentioned that he was walking around. So, say how during his independent days, he wrestled in Wollongong. Made a comment about my wife. It was pretty funny. She still brings it up and we still tease her about it. So I tried to call Zach. He didn't want to answer. And I said, wait, I'm going to go get Boldo from out the front. Just wait here. And he goes, yeah, I'm going to be here. And I said, watch this. So I'm like, Boldo. And he's like, what do you want? I'm like, just come here. And I didn't want to tell him to surprise him. And I brought Boldo in and his face was just, I've never seen Boldo's jaw drop to the ground.
Oh,
it was pretty much going to be like Pamela Anderson just took her clothes off. Like it was just.
I was like, oh.
So he was just ecstatic, and he was almost.
Oh, it took me a good 15 seconds to say a word. I'm like, oh God,
yeah.
And he's fit, dude.
Yeah, and I think you wanted to carry him out with you, like you almost wanted to pick him up and you're coming with us. So great guy. Got a photo with him, had a chat. He was happy. He's obviously a Roosters fan.
Yeah, so Chris liked him.
But in saying that, he's kind of doing what we've talked about, the bit of cross promotion with the WWE. So he's been sent here by WWE to promote. Obviously, WrestleMania coming up in Easter and a bit of cross promotion with NRL Rugby League being in America and things like that. So, yeah, really good dude. Still hates James Graham.
Oh, it's very funny.
Still hates the cheese.
So then we're hanging out with good buddy of ours, Ryan Gahagan, JC7839287 from the Sharks League Forever forums.
Is that really you remember the numbers?
Oh, no, I just make them up. And then we walked up to the Bellagio and we thought, let's get a really good photo outside the Bellagio. We'll wait for the fountain. And then we worked out the fountain doesn't go after midnight. We stand there for like freaking ages.
15 minutes.
Oh, it was a while. It was longer than 15 minutes. It wasn't. Bloody ages.
It was actually 10, but yeah. We'll go.
I really need to go to the toilet too.
We did.
So anyway, then we came back up and then we came back up to where we were. And that was pretty much the end of the night, really. Had a few more drinks and chilling out and a bit of gamble.
And then we were having a gamble at the bar. And
we did too.
Walked the great Paul Gallen who gave Boldo the cold shoulder. And he
should. He didn't give me the cold shoulder.
He was with Mark Piggy Riddell.
Oh, this was hilarious.
He was getting around in the 2GB jersey. Now, you got to remember in Vegas, it's 2 a.m., it's casino, it's Friday night, it's kind of busy. But I happened to notice later on, as even when I got to about 3 a.m., there's quite a lot of young, let's say single females hanging around bars. If you can work that out, that's what it is. So obviously there was one sort of, it's kind of like street sellers. You sort of feel surrounded.
Anyway, this girl
surrounded. So the girl sitting next to Boldo.
There's girl Mosey's up to Boldo thinking she's going to get a sale. Oh, not a sale. Or whatever
A
you want to call
date.
it. A date. You know, chatting to Boldo.
Companionship.
So anyway, then Biggie Riddell comes up and orders a drink, and I just stitch Biggie Riddell up. And so then I'm like, did you know that this
guy's
guy,
really famous.
this guy is really famous, and he is like a cult NRL hero. And so then I was able to rattle off his stats, played for St. George and Parramatta, and this goes, and then this girl's like chatting up, trying to chat to Piggy Riddell, and then he was quick smart out of there. So it was very funny.
It was good.
It was very funny.
Great stitch.
And then so yeah, that was, and then we slept and then slept in for, God, we had a sleep in, didn't we?
Yeah, we had we had a room service try and come in, and you had some alarm go off. I thought it was my alarm.
Yeah, the room.
And
Yeah.
then the next alarm went off, and I realized it was my phone. And I was like, "What time is it?" I'm like, "It's 10 a.m." Like,
So we're now prepping to go to Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium. We're on our way. So that has been the travel diary. I think we'll do one more.
Although I did say quickly as well, like how ridiculous this place is. Like I went to Starbucks just in the complex and thought I'd be cheeky and go level 2 again. And there's Ivan Cleary. I chatted to Laurie Daly. The Panthers players were there. The Warriors players were there. It was just, it's rugby league mad. Like it's insane.
Yeah. If
you were, we keep saying, if you were a fan that doesn't have these opportunities to speak to players and coaches and things, that you would have just been having the time of your life this week.
How's the post of the boys out on the strip with ET?
Oh yeah, that was great.
It's just hilarious.
That's when we bailed. They went to play
Yeah,
Hollywood.
we bailed. Yeah, we bailed. All right, look, this was this episode. Thank you for listening and watching. We will, Franco will be live with the debrief post full time of the Sharks versus the Panthers. We're going to dial in for that somehow if we're in a state that's deemed
Don't know.
worthy. And we'll do one more travel diary before we get out of here. We just want to say to everyone, again, everyone who's approached us and talked to us, we freaking love doing this. Like, it's so much fun. And
Yeah, we're starting to get approached now. It's kind of cool, but weird.
we're not that. We're like Chris Kelly is loving his Z grade celebrity status amongst the Sharks fans down in Las Vegas. Can I just say?
No, I get confused with how do I know you? And I think, oh my God, did something happen when I was working? And then I'm like, well, I look like Todd Payton. And then
you get that a lot.
And then PK's mate thought I was the owner of Tilt to Kill. It was just, I'm like, I'm just the bald guy with the beard. It's what everyone looks like.
The best is still the guy on the lift. You're the EG stand guys.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
It's kind of cool. It's very funny. All right, Sharks fans, look, get amongst it in the debrief tonight with Franco. Keep him company. What are your thoughts? What did you think of the match? What were your predictions? How are you feeling? Get all of those things. Keep him company. He loves the comments. Think he'll do a live thing as well. We're going to make our way down to Allegiant Stadium right now.
The Death Star.
It is the Death Star, isn't it? All right. Okay, Sharks fans, we will sign off there. Until next time, I'm your host, David Baldwin, for Christopher Kelly and for my other three dear hosts of the ET Stand podcast, up, Cronulla.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.